Polygamy is the practice of having more than one spouse at the same time. When I first considered going to Africa, I was warned about the practice of polygamy there. I thought the practice of polygamy in Africa was an old misconception, like the misconception that Africa is not industrialized. Well, I was wrong. Polygamy is still very much present in Africa. In this video, I discuss the practice of polygamy in South Africa specifically, and in Africa generally. I also explore the potential pros and cons of polygamy for both wives and husbands. Additionally, I address the divorce rate and the relative happiness of spouses in monogamous versus polygamous marriages. Watch the entire video so you don't miss out on seeing stories of real-life examples, such as the former president of South Africa, Jacob Zuma, with his 4 wives, and Mr. Zuma's daughter, the soon-to-be 16th wife of the King of Eswatini. The prevalence of polygamy in South Africa is relatively low, at approximately 5%. Polygamy is most common in Western and Central Africa, a region called the Polygamy Belt. The following is a list of countries in this region with their respective polygamy rates. Burkina Faso, 39%. Mali, 38%. Niger, 36%. Senegal, 33%. Nigeria, 33%. And Cameroon, 30%. Other African countries with significant polygamy rates include Tanzania and Chad, each at 25%. In Africa, polygamy holds historical and social significance, with varying levels of acceptance across the continent. South Africa, with its diverse cultural landscape, is one of the countries where polygamy is recognized and legal under the Recognition of Customary Marriages Act of 1998. So, polygamous marriages in South Africa are legal under customary law. In such customary marriages, the husband wishing to marry a second wife must apply to a competent court for such a marriage to be legal. In these marriages, the court considers the interests of all parties to the marriage and may add whatever conditions the court deems just for the polygamous marriage to be valid under customary law. Polygamy is particularly prevalent among Zulu and Swazi communities, where it has been practiced for generations. Perhaps the most famous example of a polygamous union in South Africa is that of former President Jacob Zuma, who has multiple wives in accordance with Zulu traditions. Polygamous marriages in South Africa are formalized through customary rites, and while they may be less common than in previous centuries, they remain a legitimate and practiced form of marriage. The act of entering into a polygamous marriage in South Africa requires that the first wife must agree to the arrangement, which provides her some level of agency. Additionally, the law requires that a written contract outline the rights and responsibilities of all parties involved to ensure fairness and equity. Polygamy in other African countries. Polygamy is widespread across the African continent, particularly in countries with significant Muslim populations or those where customary law predominates. In countries like Nigeria, Kenya, and Tanzania, polygamy is legal and widely accepted and practiced, especially among rural populations. Islamic law, which allows men to marry up to 4 wives under the condition of treating them equally, forms the legal basis for polygamy in many African nations with significant Muslim populations such as Sudan, Senegal, and Mali. In contrast to South Africa's structured legal framework, many African countries allow polygamy informally or through religious laws without the same level of regulation. For instance, in Nigeria, the practice is legal under both customary and Sharia law, but it is not regulated by the government in the same way South Africa does with written contracts and legal agreements. The pros and cons of polygamy. Pros for husbands. Well, there's the obvious. Most would assume a husband with multiple wives has more opportunities for sex and companionship. In communities where polygamy is normalized, having multiple wives can enhance a man's social standing and honor. Multiple wives often share household responsibilities, care for children, and in rural settings contribute to farming or other economic activities. Husbands in polygamous marriages may benefit from stronger support systems with a larger family network. Cons for husbands. Supporting multiple wives and children can be financially demanding. South African law requires equitable distribution of resources among all wives, which can be challenging. Managing relationships between multiple wives can lead to stress and conflicts, as husbands must ensure that each wife feels equally valued. Pros for wives. Women in polygamous marriages often have the benefit of sharing household and childcare duties with co-wives, lightening individual workloads. In some cultures, being part of a polygamous marriage elevates a woman's status, especially if her husband is wealthy or influential. Co-wives can form strong bonds, providing each other with emotional support in times of need. Cons for wives. Polygamous marriages can foster competition, jealousy, and rivalry among co-wives, leading to emotional distress and insecurity. While Islamic law requires husbands to treat all wives equally, in practice, favoritism can occur, leading to feelings of neglect or inequality. Wives in polygamous marriages may have limited control over decisions about having more wives, especially if they are pressured into accepting additional spouses due to cultural norms. Divorce in polygamous versus monogamous marriages. Divorce can occur in polygamous marriages, though it is often less common than in monogamous unions due to the cultural and social stigma attached to it. In traditional African societies, divorce is generally viewed as a last resort, and the communal structure of polygamous marriages sometimes provides a buffer against separation. However, in modern contexts, as women become more financially independent and assertive, divorce rates in polygamous marriages are slowly increasing, particularly when issues such as financial inequality or neglect arise. In comparison, monogamous marriages may have higher divorce rates in urban areas due to the shift towards individualism and the lessening of societal pressures to remain married. Polygamous marriages, by their very nature, involve complex dynamics that could discourage divorce, but when it does occur, it is often more contentious because of the number of people involved. Are women happier in monogamous or polygamous marriages? The question of whether women are happier in polygamous or monogamous marriages is difficult to answer definitively, as it varies greatly based on personal experiences, cultural context, and expectations. Studies and anecdotal evidence suggest that women in monogamous marriages often report higher levels of marital satisfaction, particularly in urban settings where equality and partnership are emphasized. Monogamous marriages can offer more emotional intimacy and personal agency, which are important factors in a woman's happiness. In societies where monogamy is the norm, women may feel more secure and valued in their marriage, as they do not have to compete for their husband's affection. Conversely, some women in polygamous marriages report feeling content due to the shared responsibilities and the strong communal bond among co-wives. In traditional communities, polygamy can provide a sense of security, as a husband's wealth and support are spread among multiple households. However, issues of jealousy, competition, and neglect are also common in polygamous marriages, which can negatively impact women's mental and emotional well-being. Thanks for watching this video so far. Please take the time to like it by clicking on the thumbs up button and subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button. Both actions are free and will not cause you to lose your place in this video. There's a reality TV show in South Africa entitled Uthando Nestembu, which translates to Love and Polygamy in English. This polygamy reality show has been on air in South Africa since 2017. It is about the life of a South African businessman, Musa Mseleku, and his 4 wives and children. Mr. Mseleku is a strong advocate for polygamy and vehemently against polyandry, which is one woman with more than one husband. Another interesting story is that of the recent engagement of Nomchibo Zuma to be the 16th wife of King Mswati III. See the following clip for further details. Conclusion: polygamy is a long tradition in Africa. that has the complexities of love, money, power, and more woven in. As a social institution, it continues to be an important part of the cultural and legal framework in South Africa and in many other African countries. It offers certain advantages to both husbands and wives, particularly in terms of shared responsibilities and maintaining cultural traditions. However, the emotional, financial, and social challenges associated with polygamy can complicate marital dynamics. While divorce is generally less common in polygamous unions than monogamous ones, it is becoming more frequent as societal norms evolve. Ultimately, the happiness in polygamous versus monogamous marriages depend largely on individual circumstances, personal values, and the specific context in which the marriage takes place. As African societies continue to modernize and gender roles shift, the future of polygamy and its implications for marriage and family life remain a complex and evolving issue.